Oh, look at this. Sending the barracks up.
Oh, nice. He's going to spot this Overlord.
Oh, no, he's not.
He missed it.
He did. He thought it would already be
there. He thought it would
there.
be over in this region.
Luckily, Vibe's Overlord timing was a little bit lazy.
And with this Overlord over here, he's going to be able to check and see when is the second Vespian gas guys are going to be taken. That's going to give him a lot of great information about what's going on in this game.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. And in fact, Tasteless TLO is getting a reactor, as we see on that production tab, which means, once again, he is going to do at least some Hellions for some harassment and map control.
Meanwhile, down here at Vibe's base, he's going to get a spine crawler. He might want to edge that up a little bit. You got to make sure your ramp is safe. He is, again, not going to get an extractor anytime soon. Wants to get a bunch of drones.
And, you know, that's a good style. Between Queens and Spine Crawlers, you can deal with a lot. Of course, he has to be careful about Hellion run-bys. So good against Zerglings when they're behind those minerals. It's very hard for Zerglings to actually engage, especially if they're slow.
You know, this entrance, specifically on this map, you got to be very careful. There's just a lot of area to cover here. He's going to get the orbital soon. Tech Lab coming up as well.
Quite true. And the Hellion's going to be moving out now, Tasteless. We're going to have to see if they can actually do any damage. I don't think so, though. I really love the Spine Crawler placement of Vibe right now. He is actually so safe. Look at that. One in the mineral line, one in front. Good. Queen on the ramp to stop them running by, and the other Queen just kind of sitting there.
Now let's see. He goes and takes on the Creep Tumor, backs up. Now note the Hellions, they can't see the second Spine Crawler over there. And just like we saw Thorzane get baited into going around to the back of the base, we could see that with the Hellions.
You know, against Hellion builds, it's always smart to make those two Spine Crawlers like that. Yeah. When they do run behind, as I was saying before, it becomes very, very difficult for Zerglings to actually deal with them.
Siege tank on the way now, second barracks. This build actually from TLO, pretty similar to what we saw before. The Queen taking some damage right now.
Got to be careful with that Queen. Those Hellions can kind of hit it while it's sitting at the bottom of the ramp, so he does move it to the top. Not really able to push his creep. You know, I really think that has a lot to do with this build.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme centered around it. As you can see once again there, really what you're trying to do is just make sure that there's no way to get out on the map and have mobility. You know, if you have Hydras or even Zerglings and Roaches, just having that extra boost of speed can really reward you, whether it's in a battle or retreating. And I got to say, I really like this build. We've seen this kind of concept of just controlling how much creep the Zerg have. Vibe, this is very intentional, sending an Overlord in here. He's trying to just get as much intel as he can, and he sees the... I believe, let's check here, did he actually see that second barracks over there? He did not. No. But he will see this expansion over here with the Zerglings.
Quite true. You know, he saw, though, the reactor, he saw the factory with the tech lab, and I think that's going to cue him off into thinking, oh, this is probably the same build as before.
What is this Spine Crawler doing? He's like trying to be a queen. All right.
You're not a queen,
Spine You're not a Crawler. Queen. You'll never be a queen. Actually, he's doing it, again, destroying the creep here.
Yeah, very
I like
nice
the way TLO's doing this. Actually destroying his own Hellion there to take out that creep tumor.
That's a TLO move if I ever saw it, Tasteless.
Yeah, that's our TLO right there.
He would nuke his own battlecruiser if he thought he would do something cool.
More Marines coming. As far as I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not reading this right, it looks like he's just going to do a very similar push to what we saw in the previous game.
I would go ahead and say the exact same push, Tasteless. And this time, Vibe is setting up for it just a little bit different. He is getting Baneling speed again and Aspire, but he's set up a Spine Crawler on the high ground.
Yeah, this is nice.
And I kind of like that. That's going to force TLO down to just one side. He's not going to want to battle against a Spine Crawler he can't see.
And you know what makes this unique is, and why it's so good, is there's no starport out. There's really no way for him to see onto the high ground. It's very easy to screw up, as you can see, and just be hit by the spine.
Now, Baneling's speed is only about 2/3 the way done, so Vibe is going to be a little bit iffy right now on whether or not he can actually break this. The siege tank almost going too close to the spine.
He needs to cancel this. Ooh. Can Vibe hold on? He needs to get Baneling's speed for sure here before he engages this. He also needs to keep his army alive here. The Spine Crawler's getting pretty low.
And the Baneling speed is almost done.
It's so close.
It is so close.
Vibe, hang on.
20 Lings on the way. 5 Mutalisks on the way as well.
The Queen has gone down. The hatchery is getting hit. Here he comes.
And Baneling's speed has finished. Vibe attacking in. 4 Marines do get into the bunker. But the bunker does go down. A siege tank down as well. And TLO still has a pretty strong push right here. But 7 Mutas on the way. More than enough to take out those 5 Marines. And this game may end up looking exactly the same.
This is actually, I feel like I'm in the movie Groundhog's Day. I think this game may turn out to be the exact same result for the exact same reasons. Not enough Marines here to take on the air units. And I think as long as Vibe just hangs on here, takes out these tanks, and continues to make Zerglings and Mutalisks, he should pull through with a win. But we'll see.
Microing away from those Marines right now. TLO still has quite a few. And let Zerglings come out. That's going to be enough. Vibe is going to clean up this attack. So TLO now behind exactly in the same way as last game.
Wow. Well, we know for sure Vibe knows how to deal with this strategy. You know, that's a sign of a good Zerg player, is really hanging on to your expansion and not fighting back until the last second when you have just that much more than your opponent. A lesser Zerg would have been baited in and tried to attack.
Yeah, you don't want to get wiggly and scared. You want to sit there strong, solid like a rock.
That's right, Artosis. Mm-hmm. So the Muta's flying over here. And they're going to go and try to take out some SCVs. Of course, if I can just get a quick shot of this, we're going to have an expansion over here, and you will probably take the gold in just a minute. That's very important because that's why these Mutalisks are kind of orbiting around the Terran's base every once in a while, dipping in, seeing if they can take out a Marine, a siege tank, a depot, anything.
Yeah, anything at all that he can take out will just make his lead bigger and bigger. You know, I love the fact that he's expanding kind of far away. Look at that, double evolution chamber again. This is actually the same game ported over to a new map.
This is actually the same game, yeah, literally, as you just said, porting onto a new map. So we definitely know that right now Vibe knows how to deal specifically with TLO executing this very specific strategy. Again, even just making the Marine, the SCVs rather, repair over here, that's one good maneuver to pull off.
The splash even killing off some of those SCVs.
Yeah.
They're just there to repair. Casualties of war.
And, he forced a stim out there. TLO, I think, is having a tough time in this game. I don't feel like he's playing up to his full potential here. Now, remember, guys, there's a lot on the line here. This is a situation where, the loser is out of MLG. Oh. Nice shot. SCV tries to throw the gas at him.
Just goes off the ledge. Pollutes that water, kills the shark in there.
I know, there's a shark somewhere in the water, isn't there? No, yeah, there's a shark in the water. Okay, so the Mutas are continuing to fly out. Moving back. Now, look, TLO's in a bad position. This is why, just like in StarCraft 1, if Terra does a big two-base push and destroys it, it is almost impossible to recover from.
Quite true. You know, the supplies are still pretty close, but Vibe has that additional base down at 6 o'clock. He's taking his gold. He's getting his infestation pit. And, he's got Banelings, Mutas. The Mutas are going to keep TLO in his base for a while, and that's just going to allow for Vibe to actually build a true lead economically. And, yeah, that's about it, Tasteless. That's like we saw last game, but this game with Infestors.
All right, so right now TLO just stimming this Marine to Scout, and this is actually something everybody should start doing more often. I think we only see it really at the highest level, but it's so cheap to just stim one Marine and have him run as far as he can to try to see what the architecture of the map, rather than architecture, the layout of your opponent's defenses and where's Army's position. It's much cheaper than using a mule. You know,
it really reminds me, actually, Tasteless, of Warcraft 3 and when they would make a peasant into a militia and just send it around the map.
Yeah, it's very similar.
You almost said exact same.
That was almost exact same thing. All right, the Muta's continuing to dart around. You see, the only real location that TLO can take is this spot over here. He can try to take the gold, but it's going to be pretty tough, especially with the Mutas hitting it from behind. This area, Mutas really can't utilize this back area because it's not, it doesn't go back deep enough to make it punishable.
Quite true. 4 Infestors on the way, along with Pathogen Glands. Pathogen Glands going to finish right before the Infestors. Beautiful by Vibe.
Vibe's also doing a good job of just pushing the creep out on the map.
Also taking this gold base, sending his drones over immediately. Oh, Tasteless. The Infestors finished like 1/2 of a second before. They only have 50 energy as they pop out, so just a tiny, tiny misclick, just a little bit overzealous on getting those Infestors.
Yeah, just a little bit. As you can see, the Thor's being repaired. I'm sorry, I thought he was actually going to repair down here. This is a bit of a risky move, everybody. TLO is saying, all right, I need to take this gold base here, or I'm going to lose. I'm not confident, especially with Vibe now owning the gold base as well.
You know, he is both figuratively and literally going for the gold base.
Yeah, man, he's going for the gold, man. Taking out these destructible rocks. Now we see a scan over here. TLO knows the threat of all these units rushing forward. Running him over is bad. He needs to clean up the creep so that way, the attack isn't as effective as they, just barrel in. Now he should make this into a planetary. Some players do take risks every once in a while. and try to make that into an orbital because they really want the mules. Muta's over here making TLO's life just that much more difficult as he stems a few of those and runs back.
Right now a hive is being made, Tasteless. Neural Parasite upgraded, a bunch of banelings as well. This is a sick amount of tech from Vibe.
Nice fungal there. Another fungal as well. I do like this little task force here. He's cleaned up the creep. As you guys can see, no creep tumors. This will soon dissipate.
Yes, it will, Tasteless. And Vibe trying to max out here, but TLO keeping up on supply.
This is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is still 4 base against 3, and the tech of Vibe is just a little bit better. He's making an Ultralisk Cavern. He's getting a ton of upgrades, making a bajillion Zerglings and a Nidus network.
I like it. Give me a shot of where the Nidus is so I can show everybody.
It's right there.
Right here. So this could change everything as the Terran's starting to push.
But he is pushing right now.
Here we go.
So Vibe has to deal with this. He has a lot of infestors. He is making a Nidus Worm in TLO's top right of his base.
There we go. Nidus Worm coming in over here.
But he's going against
moving
TLO now. And grabs the
Thor.
Very nice job there by Vibe. And just rolling through this army. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And TLO just nothing left there.
Nothing left at all.
At the same time, Tasteless, we do have in the main base of TLO, Zerglings just coming right out of there, going after these Marines.
Vibe's playing so well. Now, this is a planetary, but, with the income that, right now Vibe has, he could just turn this into make a bunch of banelings and just destroy all this.
Certainly he could. He may, in fact, do that, Tasteless. The Muta's still being quite active on the map, taking out that extra siege tank. TLO's army is in shambles, and Vibe, with all these bases, taking yet another one in the bottom right.
Beautiful.
Making 6 Ultras right now.
Well, the Ultralisks are going to be, I think, the final blow here. It looks like, okay, here's what TLO's doing. He wants to turtle up with a bunch of planetaries. He knows the only way to win this is to wear his opponent out. And look at this. This is very sneaky.
Yeah, that is quite cool. And at the same time, Tasteless, in the main base, he's sending in a lot more Zerglings. TLO never cleaned up that Nidus. And these Zerglings just going to go to work on anything they possibly can. Vibe is just going to start attacking from all over the place because it's, how are you going to stop it, TLO?
Basically, Vibe identified these command centers over here being made. They're going to be turned into planetaries. He says, all right, I don't want to deal with that location on the map.
Retreats Zerglings through a Nidus. You don't see that every day.
No, you don't.
Vibe is a Zerg that loves each and every of his units.
So he's going to spill in over here. This location, I don't think TLO is expecting at all to come through here with. We got an Ultra Scout here.
Wrong stop.
Get back on the bus. So, look, right now, Vibe essentially controls half the map. TLO has isolated himself in this tiny little region.
Oh my god, 7 more Ultras on the way, as well as a Greater Spire. Totally sick.
Very nice, just keeping TLO on his feet here. He's moving in, though. These are not planetaries yet.
Yeah, looks like he wants to make them, and look at that. A Nidus Worm going up. Wants to kill off this...
He's just going to target it down? I don't know if this is a good idea.
Yeah, no, this turns out it's not a good idea, Tasteless.
Terrible idea.
Yeah, that was... out of the ideas he had today, that might have been the worst,
That
Tasteless.
actually was a really bad idea, going after that planetarian. And... wow, I'm just so caught off guard by that. Certainly Vibe is still in the lead.
Yeah, 193 supply to 124.
And, I know that right now Vibe is kicking himself for that. That was just not a good move.
Yeah, Ultras are the ultimate money sink, Tasteless. You have to keep them alive. And now TLO is making quite a defensive posture. With all those planetaries and everything, it's going to be very hard to break. Look at this, a drop going over towards Vibe's main. And the Greater Spire is in there. The Ultra's Cavern is in there. This might be huge.
Here we go on the other side over here. He's attacking in here. Vibe sending his Ultralisks in. But what about over here? The Marines and Marauders shooting down all the possible upgrades you could have with the Evolution Chambers. But it looks like the Marines and Siege Tanks and Marauders will be moving in here. He wants to deny this Nidus Worm the ability to hatch open. And he does not. I can't believe it.
The Ultra's walking down now, but these Marines being microback very well at the same time, trying to save his main. He's already lost his Evolution Chambers and his Greater Spire, unfortunately. That's something you could definitely have used in this situation. And it looks like the Ultras over near TLO are going to be cleaned up.
Looks like TLO's barely still, well, I just said barely still alive, but then I saw that. Okay, GG. Great game.
Wow.